right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another DC Worlds Collide video. This is Mr. Squirrel, as always. Glad to have you here. So today we're going to talk about Bloodsport. And he is essentially a sub DPS character for the block team. I do think he is the weakest link currently on the block team, but he is overall pretty good and does a lot for the block team. So let's talk a little bit about my Bloodsport right now. Right now, he is rank 8, badge 10, so medium investment. I will say I do have a really good crit piece on accessory on him with a 10.6% crit rate bonus, and then his comp set is just general flat attack because I don't have attack percentages yet because I'm still working on getting all of that stuff. And then I'm running him 4 crit, 2 block. Now the reason I contemplated actually just shifting over to 2 attack is because he already has a pretty high block rate, but I do like the increased block chance on him because he's not. I factor in the block rate being more impactful for the team and what he's trying to do than just a little bit more attack. And we'll talk about that because if we go to his skills, his ult is pretty much just gives everyone block. I do not highly prioritize his block chance in PvP or PvE content. I usually have it as one of the last ults. It's kind of just a nice to have for me. His basic essentially just, you know, can put weaken on the character if they have 3 or fewer weaken. So he does work really well in that sense with Ocean Master. But again, if there's too much weaken already on it, he's not doing that. Now at rank 9 though, if the enemy has 3 or more stacks of weaken before you attack, deal an additional basic attack. So then he does more damage. So his rank 9 is actually pretty good. I've been kind of debating whether or not I want to keep pushing him to rank 10. I think I will. I don't know if we're going to get anyone that's going to sub out him as a block. So I think it does make sense to put him to rank 10 or rank 9 at least. Now, his advanced attack is actually quite interesting. Depending on who he's attacking, he does different things. If it's a tank, he's attacking the full front row. If it's a DPS, he does weaken, and then with more damage. And then if it's a support, he does 100% physical damage, but then silences them, which is pretty cool. So I do like his advance. I think it's very interesting in the sense of like who he's attacking. It does have a 3-turn cooldown. I wish it was 2. I think 3 is kind of a lot, but it makes sense when you consider what his passive is doing. So his passive just gives him increased block chance, but then every 7 times your team blocks an attack, reduce Bloodsport's advanced cooldown by 1 turn. Again, I still think it'd be kind of cool if it was 2 turns for his advanced, and then this was just like he gets a 1 turn, but whatever. It might be too OP at that point. Maybe. The reason I gave him crit is actually because of this advanced attack, because he does a lot of damage, and I want those things to be critting. That's my theory behind it. Now, last thing to go over with him, I do have the enhanced sphere, the blue one, which giving it more crit. So he's just got a ton of crit on my team. And then finally, his badge. Right now, if the target enemy of a basic attack has 7 or more stacks a weaken, use advanced skill instead of basic attack. So that's where it's kind of like balancing out this weekend. Like there is that middle ground between 3 and 7 though. So there is that. I think getting past 7 weekends is kind of hard. I think what's his name does do it pretty well. Ocean Master can help your team kind of push that progressively and make it so that you are doing way more advanced attacks, weekend stacks. But yeah, overall he's good. He is the weakest link though. I will just be very honest. He is very much the weakest link on the block team. But let's go look at him in action. All right. Okay, this guy and I are about, I'm a little bit stronger than this person's team, but I just want to show Bloodsport here. Now, one of the reasons I like Bloodsport is because he has that increased block chance. For the block, there's his advanced. I'm actually slowing this down now as per feedback. I do think we're gonna go to 2 because 1 is kind of painfully slow. He's very kind of solo in the way that he operates. He's not really giving the team a lot than him having increased block chance. And for AoEs, that works. But again, I kind of wish he was doing a little bit more support for block versus it seems very much like when people are blocking, he himself is getting stronger. He will do his advanced attack more often, but he's not really contributing a lot to the whole team. Instead, I think it's more he's just kind of doing damage with increased block chance, which makes it so your team does block more, especially when there's AoEs like that right there. That's an AoE attack from Grodd, which then, you know, so can we block this? Yes, we can. So again, that increased block chance is very beneficial for AoE based attacks, but at the same time, he's not really doing much with the team's block. It's just, contributing more and more to that block, which again isn't a bad thing, but it's just not, he's not pushing the team further. I think he's just a nice contributor to it. I do wish he was doing a little bit more in terms of like, if I were to buff him, God, I don't know, maybe give the team like a little bit higher block chance. If he was doing like, if it was give, like his passive was give the team like 10% extra block instead of himself, I actually be way okay with that. That way he's kind of giving some level of support. Maybe it's like, I don't know, give himself this much block and then give the team like 5% block chance. I'd actually think he'd be way, way better. Even that 5 to 10% block chance increase of the team in his passive, ooh, then I'm like, he's goated on this team. But in that sense, he's not really doing that. And as we can see here, he's just kind of there. And he's there because he has the high block chance, not because he's like giving the team so much more damage. He's doing good damage. I would say he's not bad. But again, he's just there because, I mean, Deathstroke's the one that's kind of clearing through everything. Okay, so we're at some system recovery. I'm already currently sitting in the 40s right now in terms of my story. I can't push the story right now, so we're going to use some system recovery. One of the things, again, this team isn't the perfect team. I says running, what's his name? Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Terrific. And see, theirs is because he's attacking a DPS ally. He used the sniper rifle instead of like the rocket launcher. That will do 150% damage and add a stack of weaken. Overall, it's pretty good. I do like his tank rocket launcher because that does a lot. If it crits, that's hitting the front line hard because it's 200% damage. I do like his support one as well because it's a silence and that is very annoying to deal with. But at the same time, he himself is not, I would say, hyper contributing. So we're going to do, oh, I missed it. We'll see if we have a little bit of time. I'm going to show what his ult does here. Why is it getting a, okay, there we go. I want to show his ult real quick. See if I can time it right. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get it. Let's just time this. I think they're going to ult in a minute. Hopefully I can time this right before they ult. Okay, now you see this barrier. This is, oh, we didn't get the silence. Okay. Okay, see, there we go. Now, what that did was an auto block. That means he just had it created a guaranteed block instead of the team potentially maybe blocking, which is good on almost non-block teams. But because on a block team, your team already has a ton of block chance, and it's okay. I'd say it's a good, like, he doesn't need ult, which is actually a good thing on many teams because in this team, I do need Nightwing ulting, I do need Deathstroke ulting, I do need Blue Beetle ulting, I do need, not on this specific team, but I mean in general on the block team, and I do need Ocean Master ulting. So his ult is actually fine just having it as like a nice to have at the very end. Because remember, you don't want a team of 5 characters that need to ult. That's the big thing. And I think that's actually why the block team works so well, because you don't need it. And again, he's doing what he needs to do. I have no complaints on how he operates. I just wish he was doing a little bit more for the team in a supportive role. I wish he was giving some kind of block chance to the team. I think that would really kind of up his value. But right now, he's very kind of selfish in the way that he operates. And once we get a better sub DPS block character, I do think he's getting replaced. Unless they buff him. If they buff him, then That would be nice. I think a small buff is all that's needed. I don't think he needs anything super duper crazy. I do like him in his current form. I just wish he was doing a little bit more for the team because he is a sub DPS. Like you're not going to make him your main DPS on any team, or you shouldn't, because he's not doing enough damage to do that. He doesn't have this like AoE ult that's going to, kill everyone. It's literally just he doesn't really work on teams that are not blocked because that increased block chance just makes him more survivable, but it doesn't really, again, it's not helping the team per se. It's not giving the team more damage or defense. It's just making it so that he blocks more. And the only team in which you want your team, well, not the only team, but I'm just saying the team in which like a DPS being able to block is beneficial is on a block team, because then when he blocks, it's contributing to the team's overall damage. It's giving them more attack. It's healing them. It's also helping him maybe be able to do his advanced attack more right there, as we saw. But it's not overall making the team actually stronger if it's not a block team. That's the point I'm trying to make here. So he works on the block team because of what he's doing. And there we go. Got his ult. Now, you kind of, if you're playing a manual and you're struggling, you really want to time his ult right before they ult, because then he's like, if I was actually like really trying here, you'd want to time his ult the moment before the enemy character does their ultimate damage, because then it's going to block, especially the AoE blocks. Because then what it does is it makes it so that's very hard to time though. So I'm just going to say this. It is like you have to know exactly when the enemy team is about to ult, which can be very, very tricky. I'm trying to see something. If I can, no, it's not going to work. Okay, so I'm going to show something here. I'm going to do this as an example to highlight how to do this. So we're going to, I know, now that I know when he's ulting, I'm going to show this. This is kind of how you time it and how you do it. So it's after the back character. Oh, I didn't time it right. Hold on. I'm going to have to go back to 1 time speed. All right, we'll go to 1. Okay, so I'm waiting for the character in the back to auto. And then once he autos, 1. Okay, now I triggered it. This will then, once Bane ults, I'm going to block all of the ult. You'll see right here. So here we go. And full block. There we go. See how it got 5 instances of a heal? That is because in that instance and that scenario, I was able to proc. Now, mind you, I had to go down to 1 time speed, memorize when, after what character the enemy was going to use that ult. But if you're really struggling, it can be a game changer in that sense. Like, oh, maybe you're going up against a very hard boss. They're going to ult. You can auto block that ult. So in that sense, he is very good because, and on the rank 10 Ocean Master team, I'm getting a full 5% heal on every single character because all 5 characters are blocking that damage. Now, you can even get, like, that's why that's so great. Now on, like, for instance, if it was Green Arrow ulting, that's even better because he's got multiple instances of damage. I'm just saying there's a lot of ways you can kind of cheese with the ult, but you got to know the fight very, very well. And you got to memorize when certain characters are about to ult, so that way you can use it as effectively as possible. Overall, though, again, he's a good character, and if you're running the block team, you should be building him up. I'm gonna get mine to rank 9 probably next week, depending though. I'm gonna save my summons for when Judo Master comes out, and then I'm just gonna use my whatchamacallit then, desired then, and we'll see what happens. Okay, all right. This is the last fight we're going to do with him. Again, you probably haven't seen, he's not doing anything super crazy. He's just kind of there, but that increased block chance is incredibly good because when you get these AoE ults like both Barbara has here and Harley, so right here, that increase, see that increased block chance is very beneficial in keeping him alive, right? And that increased block chance, so now Ocean Masters is going to Hamtaro because, again, with the increased block chance from Bloodsport, that makes it so that he is able to block more. proc the team's ability of getting increased attack because he has higher block chance, and then getting increased healing for the whole team because, again, he's blocking. On the block team, you just want people blocking, and he's very good at doing just that. Like right there, he's blocking. He's doing his job of just to block. I just treat him as a little bit of extra damage. I have a high chance of blocking. That's it. That's pretty much how he operates, and it works on this team. It does what it needs to. Outside of this team, he's not. I would not recommend him, just because he's not doing a lot. He's not pushing the team in any way, shape, or form. This is like, here's our guaranteed block. We'll get we'll get some HP back. Yep, there we go. But again, is he doing anything crazy? No. Okay. So again, if you're running a block team, you should be pulling for him. He does a decent amount on the block team. I think he definitely increases the team's capabilities because of his increased block chance, and then his advanced attack is very good. But outside of that, he's not doing a lot. I will just be very honest with you. His ult can be kind of a game changer if you're not on a block team. But already on a block team, I will just say this: the team's already has a high chance to block. But if you do time it well, you can block a serious ult that might be hurting you. And that is something to take note of. It can be a game changer in that sense, but that requires a lot of timing on your part. It requires knowing when they're going to ult, all that jazz. And it's not on auto play. You don't want to be doing it. You've got to be doing that on manual. So overall, do I think you should be pulling for him? Yeah, if you're running a block team, which everyone should be. So you should be getting copies of him. Other than that, do I think he's a mandatory pull? No. But everyone should be running a block team, and he is great on the block team. All right, ladies and gents, that's it for this video. I hope it helps. And as always, failing is just your first attempt at learning.